Hi, this is Mary from A Scarlet Thread, and I'm doing a demo on the 4-inch log cabin trim tool. This is the basic block, this is the trim tool, and these are the instructions that come with it. They cover everything in great detail with good diagrams, so if you forget what I'm showing you now, you can refer to the instructions. The first thing we're going to start with is a square for your center. It can be any color you want. In my example, it's red. And I have light logs and dark logs. I'm starting off with a light log, and we will be sewing this seam on the right-hand side. If you look at it from the back, you're going to extend the log on above and below the center square. It's right sides up on your center square and right sides down on your log. So we'll sew this seam. There's no back stitching, and you'll be pressing it to the side. It will end up looking like this, and then you'll turn it a quarter turn to the left, and our next light log will be going here. In order to keep the 1/4-inch seam nice and accurate, I like to use just a regular square ruler to put my seam line on one of the lines of the ruler and just trim off this extra bit of log before I put on the next log. So my next log is going to go here on the right-hand side. Again, it's extending above and below. If I have a long strip that I'm working with, I can cut it off with scissors so it's not in my way, or you can just leave it there and trim it after. And then again, that will get pressed to the side. And then it's going to be time to put on the first dark log. So I'll be turning it a quarter turn to the left. I'll be right sides together, putting down my dark log and extending it above and below, pressing it to the side. Then I'll have 2 extra bits of log to trim off. And then my last log will go on, and when I press to the side, it will look something like this. This is the end of round 1, so now it's time to trim. I'll show you here the square I'll be using. It says round 1, it's in the upper right-hand side, and I'll be putting it over my center square like this. You'll notice that the dotted lines are going to line up with your seams on the right-hand side, and you just want to make sure everything is nice and straight. Trim the right side, trim across the top, then turn your log cabin and put that square over the center again. Trim along the right side, trim along the top, and then that is ready to start putting on round 2. Round 2 is going to go, we'll pretend this is trimmed. Round 2, you're going to start at the end of the last log. So it would be another white strip here, another white log here, another dark, and then that'll be round 2 ready to trim. Right here is round 2 square, and that's going to go over your center, and you'll trim it the same way. Then you'll do round 3, and here's the round 3 square for trimming. And when you get to the end, I have now changed fabric because this was a sample I made at home, so don't get confused. I have 3 rounds. You can see that there are 3 sets of logs of each, so round 3, the square goes over my center, and now I'm going to be trimming all 4 sides. I can do it right side and top and turn it, or if I have a rotary mat, I can do all 4 sides, but that's going to trim it perfectly to this size. And that is the end of the basic log cabin. There are instructions to make courthouse steps, which look like this. So I'll show you the steps for that. It's very much the same, except that, as you'll see, the light logs are opposite each other and the dark logs are opposite each other instead of being adjacent. So it's made exactly the same way, except you're putting on 2 logs at a time. So first I start with my center square, and I'm putting my first 2 light logs opposite each other. Then I'm going to turn it a quarter turn. I'll use my regular square ruler again to just trim off that edge so it'll be easier to put my dark log there. So that'll go here and it will get pressed over. Then I'll turn it, trim off the excess on that side, put on my next log. It will be opposite where the first one was, and when you're done it's going to look like this. And that was round 1, so now it's time to trim it. And I will trim just like I did before. I'm putting the round 1 square over my center square, trimming the right side and across the top, and then turning it, recentering, trimming the right side and across the top, and I'll get something that looks like this. So that was round 1. Now it's time to start round 2. I'm going to go a white log on this edge and also on this edge, because I'm going to have them come out opposite each other, and then I'll put dark logs on the other sides, and that will build them out like this. And when I get to the end, it'll be round 3. Round 3 will go over the center square, and you can see that I've already trimmed that one. So that was the Courthouse Steps. And then their last version is the half log. The half log has 6 rounds, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're only halfway. So I'm going to start with my center square and putting a light log on, but then when I turn it and trim it, instead of putting another light log, I'm putting a dark log. And then that is the end of round 1. So I will find my round 1. I'll put my round 1 square over my center square. I will trim up the right and across the top, and that's all the trimming I'll do. And you'll see that there is a seam allowance remaining in my red square. That's always going to be there all the way through. When I get to the end, that center square still never trims this off because that's my seam allowance. Now the thing that's different about this is because I have, whoops, I had it in the wrong spot. There's my last one. The thing that's different about this half log is that because I have 6 rounds and the original squares only went to round 3, I need to have more rounds for trimming. So there's a half log cabin round 4, half log cabin round 5, and half log cabin round 6. So you'll be using all of these squares when you do your half log. And here's how it is at the end. So that's how you use this tool. Remember, all of your instructions are here, so if you forget something or something wasn't clear, you can just refer to this, and they have also a video that you can watch. So I hope you have fun with the log cabin tool, and we'll see you again. Bye.